Hello, you are welcome to this week's Monday Live that is holding on a Tuesday. Okay, so this was supposed to hold yesterday, but for some glitches, it couldn't hold, and so we are quickly having it today, being Tuesday. All right, so you're welcome. How are you doing today? All right, so we're going to discuss a very important topic, a very important conversation in your parenting. And let me say, not just in your parenting, in every area of your life, your marriage, your career, and in other areas. But because I am gladly your early years parent coach, we're going to channel what we are discussing with regards to your children and what you're doing with them. Okay. So I am excited to have you here, by the way. And I am Choma Okoli, your host on this Monday Live. So we're looking at proactivity in parenting, your first step at winning. Proactivity in parenting, your first step at winning. So when you hear the word proactivity, what comes to your mind? What comes to your mind? All right. And hey, the holiday is here or almost here because this is the week of examination in many schools. So, you know, in a matter of weeks, in a matter of days, not weeks, in a matter of days, our children will be at home. Because most schools, once exams are finished, the people stop coming to school, the students stop coming to school. So this topic is as important outside of the holiday as it is now that the holiday is almost here. I am one of those parents who used to have palpitations when holidays are approaching. In fact, ordinary weekend and midterm breaks will have my heart beating faster just because of one son that I had then. Okay, and then my daughter came around and the palpitation heightened, but at least it's been just my oldest child who has been in school. And I know this isn't something that happened to me alone or something that happened. Yeah, I'm no longer in that place. So, but I know there are people who have such palpitations when they are having to stay more with their children at home. Why? Because they don't know what to do with the children, and they feel the children are disturbing them. They feel that the children are like the clog in their wheels, and all of that, and all of that. But hey, this is a child you're going to have to parent for the next 18 years. And if for anything, you should plan for that child's holiday. If for anything, you should plan for parenting that child. That is what proactivity is all about. Okay. So, like I'd say, when you want to be successful at something, you need to look at people who are successful in that area, people who have walked the path you're trying to walk. And you don't look at them and say, oh, what kind of clothes do they wear? Um, what kind of food do they eat? Um, how do they walk? No, those are not walk as per WALK. No, those are not the things you want to look at. You want to look at what do they do different. That's what the conversation. That's what um, what do they do differently from other people? So success is more about what the successful started on this. So success is about what the successful person has done or how has been doing and is been doing. And that is what this conversation today wants to achieve in every one of us. And I hope you do listen to the end because that's the only way you get to hear what I have to say to it and put things into perspective in your home. Okay. So I ask again, when you hear the word proactivity, what comes to mind? And let me say, I am thinking that what comes to your mind is going to include planning, execution, evaluation, re-strategizing. Generally, proactivity talks about preparing for what is ahead. Preparing for what is ahead. So, talking about taking the holiday into perspective, your we start today to plan for the holiday, especially yes, plan. If you haven't been planning, right? So for us, every term we start a savings. The children start a savings. My daughter hasn't been in school, but she joins the brother to do that savings. So every weekend we have conversations around money. I hand them money, some notes. They decide to put some inside the saving box and then put some inside their expense container. So if they want to buy anything, they can take it from there and all of that and all of that. Okay, so come about. And then if you see somebody keep money carelessly in the house, who pick the money and can put in our offering box? And if you ask, we'll tell you yes. We saw it lying on the floor on the bed and we decided to put inside our saving box. So that's basically what they do to save the money that they do save. And then at the end of the towards the end of the term, like this weekend, we should be in the market to buy stuff for the week for the holiday. So on the last day of exam, my son's exam at school, we open the saving box, we check what we have, and see if it can afford what we have on our list. If it doesn't if we can't afford it, then we source for money from mommy or daddy. Okay, so we have been proactive in this holiday. We don't like the result we are getting. We sit back, ask questions, we strategize. So that's why I said, when you hear proactivity, what comes to mind? And I mentioned a set of words: planning, execution, evaluation, re-strategizing, and generally preparing for what is ahead. So, in your case, in your case, what can you do differently? Okay, what can you do differently? What can you do in this holiday for your family, for your children? Because if you don't plan it, you're still going to have palpitations, right? You're still going to have palpitations like we've always done. So your only your only solution, the only solution from not having that palpitation or being overwhelmed or being angry that holiday is here is to prepare for it. Okay. All right. So um and it's not just about the holiday, it's something you should do in every area of your parenting. It's not something that is just done during holiday. Parenting is an at least 18-year plan. So the next 18 years, you're going to be you're going to be using the farming metaphor. You're going to be tilling the ground for your child. You're going to put in manure. You're going to clear the farm. You're going to um, cultivate it, place manure, select the best of crops, plant it, water it, put stakes if you planted stuff that need stakes like yam, like beans, and all of the things that need staking, right? And then you direct the stakes. And when it is time to weed, you also weed. When it is time to monitor for pests, you monitor for pests and take care of it. Ah, and if you fail to do this, if you fail to weed, if you fail to water, all of the effort you've put in before now will be a waste. Give me a second. Okay. All right. So I needed to get that done. Okay. So it's something that you need to be doing often and throughout. If you don't weed, you make a mess of all the efforts you've put in initially. If you don't stake and you planted yam, the yam is going to lay on the floor, and as a result of that, you won't have the yield won't be maximum, right? Okay. So you want to make sure that everything you're doing at every stage in your parenting is contributing to the overall goal that you have. And let me say this is exactly what we do in the reality conclave for a living. I'm using for a living in quotes because, of course, the parents in the reality conclave, most, in fact, do I say most? All of them are full-time working parents, very busy at that. Both parents here in Nigeria and parents outside of Nigeria. So they are very busy people. But we understand that there is something we must do differently now that our children are young. And that's what we do um, basically in the reality conclave. I'm going to drop the link for you to read more about the reality conclave in the comment section after this session. Okay. So in there are five things that proactivity in parenting says. Five things that proactivity in parenting says. Number one thing is that I have seen things done a certain way, but I want to do mine differently. I have seen things done a different way, but I want to do mine differently. Do you know that some parents who kiss their children on the mouth simply do that because they've seen other people do it? In fact, growing up, when visitors come to visit children as a way of welcoming each other, all of that. I'm talking about visitors who are not your family or who may not even be your best friends. They kiss babies on the mouth. I grew up seeing that. I don't know about you, but I grew up seeing that. And so it was seen as a norm. And the visitor isn't hiding it. The visitor is kissing the baby on the mouth in the full glare of the parents and every other person. Everybody is watching. And so if a parent can allow a visitor to kiss the child on the mouth, do you think many parents would query that? No, not many parents would query that. And that's why you say on social media today, parents, stop kissing your children on the mouth, and somebody wants to stone you. The person is like, my own child, my own child. I get it. The person is coming from the time where I grew up. And the person probably saw what I'm trying to explain that I also saw. But we don't, proactivity says, I've seen this done a particular way, but I want to do it differently. That's one thing that proactivity brings. Then the next one is, it didn't feel good when things were done to me a particular way when I was small. And I don't want same for my children. Yes. So you can say, um, for me, I played a lot when I was younger. In fact, one could say I played for a living. And, you know, in the first 6 years, right, impulse control is a big deal for children. And so in that age space, my impulse control was on the higher. So I could be sent to go and deliver a message. And on my way, I see my friends playing on the street, and come on, I joined them. Delayed gratification, I couldn't delay the fact that I was sent on an errand. So let me just conclude the errand and then take permission from my parents and go and play. So many times, by the time you come back after taking so much time, or sometimes your mother will have to come and pick me or send my immediate elder sister to come and call me. And by the time I come back, there is a conflict in the house. And so, should I have played with my friends on the street? Yes. Should I also have been sent on an errand? Yes. So, there needed to be a balance between going on an errand and playing, but I couldn't separate the two. And even the people who were older than me now were bent on calling me names, bent on making me feel stupid. I'm not realizing that this is just a child who had a problem with delayed gratification and self regulation. So for me, I am doing differently for my children. I understand that impulse control and delayed gratification is a problem, but I'm going to teach you that. I'm going to give you opportunity to learn. I'm going to walk you through that. I am being proactive. I am being proactive. And in the games and in the toys that I invest money on buying for the children, my husband and I invest money on buying for the children are things that will help them fine tune the skills because those are what they truly need to become successful tomorrow. A child who doesn't know to control self, who doesn't know to delay gratification, who doesn't know to control impulse is a walking disaster. That could sound really strong, but that is what it is. Because that child will eat even what is he shouldn't eat. That child will take drugs. That child would most likely take alcohol because the child can't control, can't say no, and it spirals into other areas of the child's life. So, what is the third thing that proactivity says? Proactivity says, what comes natural to me is to yell, hit, ignore, bribe, etc. But I don't like how it feels and the results I have. So recently, I read about a mother who said that she cooked rice in the morning and gave the son of around 4 years before they left for church in the morning. She also took juice and biscuits to church, which the boy ate in church. They went to see a family friend around 12 who gave them rice. The boy ate. She took the children to see their grannies around 4, 3, 4, and the boy still ate. She came back around 6, 7. The boy said he wanted to eat dinner and she served him. And afterwards, she dished her own to eat, and the son still came to eat again. Can you even count how many times this child eats? And she wasn't saying it as that she was proud of what it is that is going on. She was concerned because it's something that's been going on. And this is exactly what um, nutrition in early years parent course is about because there's a whole lot we are not putting into consideration in feeding our children. See, self-regulation is not just about teaching a child not to hit, right? It springs into other areas of life, nutrition inclusive. Why do you think that most of our uncles or grannies who died early were said to have died from poisoning? And some of those poisonings came from food or drinks. Why do you think that many men, especially wealthy or spotlight men who died, some of them were said to have been poisoned through food or drink, or some of them were with a strange woman? Why? Or somebody will now try to make excuses for them and say that they were lured or they were, how do we even say it? They were seduced. Seduction works where impulse control, delayed gratification, and self regulation is poor. Yes, it works where it is poor. So this mother was recounting the experience. She wasn't happy about it. She doesn't like the fact that the child ate one, two, three, four, 5 times in a day, minus the snacks of biscuit and juice. That's like 6 times. She wasn't happy, but she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know what to do. And hey, if you are in the same shoe with this woman, then you want to go and enroll for the nutrition in early years parent course. It will take care of all of that for you. All right. So what's the next thing that proactivity in parenting says? I am learning new things about parenting. I want to put them into practice. You know, I am a mother of three, and I can tell you that a lot has changed. When my first son was around 2, 3 years, just only say a word, and you shall eat what it is that you want to eat. In fact, once they wake up in the morning, once he wakes up in the morning, I'm like, "Do you want to eat? Do you want to eat?" And I'll brush your teeth and give you food. It's no longer that way in my house. Once you're up to 2 years, we start working on delayed gratification. We start working on impulse control. We start working on self-regulation. My daughter is will be 3 years in September, but right now, for about 3 months, we don't go to church on Sundays eating breakfast. Yes. And even other days, breakfast is from 10 a.m. upwards. My son, who is in school, doesn't take breakfast before he leaves for school, and he's fine. How did it come about? Because I'm learning. Even me, as a parent coach, I'm still learning because I'm still parenting. In fact, my job as a parent comes first, and so I should do it well before I can actually teach anybody to do well too. So these are the conversations that we really need to sit in with and be comfortable with. Your proactivity says you're learning new things. You need to put them into practice so that they can change what you're doing for the better. Then the last one is I want an end result for my children different and richer than mine. So I want to parent them differently. Let me tell you the truth. My first fasting was as a student in a high institution. Yeah, the regular fasting. And it was because I was in a group that, mandated us to fast for a particular reason. And even in that fast, it was just 6 to 12. I felt like I was going to die. Fasting. Nobody taught me that growing up. No, nobody did. Nobody taught me fasting growing up. That was why, like many people, I was one of those who would come back from posting then as a nursing student, and the very first thing I want to take is very chilled Pepsi or Coke. And I'll be saying, I'm dehydrated, I need fluid, I need fluid. If I needed fluid, is there no water in my room? Is there no no water for me to take? It was Pepsi I wanted. Very chilled one. The other chilled water I could have still gotten, but I chose to take Pepsi or Coke because nobody taught me. And so I felt I could take Pepsi or Coke in place of water. And if you still take Pepsi and Coke, it's up to you. But I'm saying that there are things I don't want my children to take, right? Yes. There are things I don't want my children to take. And even if they decide to take it tomorrow, they are aware of a lot of things. And they know that if I take this, I'm going to have to do A, B, C, D because of this. So they are aware of consequences, even without me being there. They are aware of the bodily consequence that the thing they are consuming will have on them. So whether there is an adult there, or whether I am there or not, of course I won't continue being with them. They are aware of the effects it's going to have on them, and they know better to be proactive with their diet. And so I want to be in the last two places. I want an end result for my children different and better and richer than your own. That's what proactive this sums proactivity in parenting. This sums it. Not just that you want something different, you want it better for your children. And like I would say, the first 6 years is the period that you lay foundation for every other thing that will happen in the years to come. If you joke with it, just know you have to work extra harder in the years to come. Extra. It's not like your working extra hard will not yield results. It will. Definitely it will. But you have to work extra harder. and you need a longer dose or a bigger dose of patience to actually see the work you're putting into work. So if you have children who are within the first 6 years, you want not to miss being in the royalty conclave. Trust me on that. You do not want to miss being in the royalty conclave because it is a space where you're you're also seeing children who are within the same age range with you, and you're seeing what they are doing and all of that and all of that. Okay, all right. So the next thing we will be talking about is three features of proactivity. The first feature is it brings the end in mind. It brings the end in mind. For instance, when it comes to physical hygiene, my oldest son, who will be 5 years in August, that's next month, we're already working at him being able to beat himself before next academic session, which will be starting in September. And so right now we are putting in more effort in supervising him beat himself than any other person beating him. So, and we've discussed it that by the time school starts next term, we'll just come in, beat your sister, and then you go in and beat yourself. And that's the only part of his praying for school that he's still needing help in. And so we want him to quickly learn that one and move on. So why I supervise, I am having in mind that I want him to learn. And so I'm not making the experience a I'm not making the experience one that he will hate himself. I'm also at the same time teaching him water economy, how to use his water in such a way that it won't finish and he'll still be able to do everything he wants to do. I'm teaching him the science of economy of frugality even before money starts coming in. So when you bear the end, proactivity is about helping you bear the end in mind even before you start. That's a very beautiful thing. And it's something that many people don't consider in our world today. They just want it sharp, 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 sharp. Not realizing what the end, what the process is like. You don't want to be there. So what's the third feature of proactivity? The second feature of proactivity, it enacts a process to be followed. It enacts a process. So the process we are following now is that in the morning, there is minimal, there is more involvement, more adult involvement in beating him. But in the evening, he is fully in charge. So that's the process we are following. That's the process we are following. The third feature of proactivity is that it provides a compass to keep you focused on what's ahead. So I think 3 days ago, something happened, and so I actually didn't remember to allow him bathe, and I was sponging him. Halfway, I remember that I told him, "You didn't even remind me that you're supposed to bathe so that I will not bathe." He was like, mommy, I forgot to. I said, "Go take your sponge and start bathing." So one of the features of practice is that it keeps you on the line. Even when you stray, there's a sort of compass that brings you back to the path you should walk in. All right. So what are the last thing we're going to talk about is five proactive moves. Five proactive moves. And one is self-awareness. Where are you? So when I said that I used to have palpitation when holiday is close by, I was aware of how I feel. I was aware of how, you know, holidays make me feel. And I was uncomfortable with it. So proactivity puts you in the place of self-awareness. Self-awareness. What is it that your child is doing that is making your heart to jump? You want to ask yourself that question. Okay, so what is the second proactive move? Number one, change your mindset. I had to say this doesn't have to be. It can be better. It can be better. This can be better. And we started working towards it. The third move, right environment. And so we wanted an environment where things are conducive. Right now, in this month in my house, our theme for the month is teamwork. Teamwork. And something that is keeping the children to understand that you should work together with the adults around you. You should work together with your siblings. You should work together with people. You should put their mind, you should put their feelings and what they are doing into consideration. That is always bringing us back to building an environment that is conducive for everyone, where everybody feels I have a part in what is happening here. So what's the fourth one? Community and accountability. This is where the royalty conclave comes in fully. You want to be in a community that isn't just showing you what to do and how to do it, but is also holding you accountable. Yeah, you want to be there. The next one is periodic assessment. From time to time, you say, okay, so this thing I'm doing, how is it faring? Is it serving us? Is it serving the goal we have in mind? Is it giving us the results we want? What do we need to change? What do we need to do better? And all of that and all of that. Okay. So periodic assessment is beautiful. Weekly meetings, maybe on weekends, whichever day of the week that will work with you, well, for your family, or even if you are a single person, whatever time that will work best for you, where you have minimal distractions and you can really sit and evaluate what's been going on, it's important. You can't live life without assessment. And if you're parenting, you can't live life, you can't parent without periodic assessments. You may think it's just that somebody told me recently, family doesn't have to look to be official, that you're always having official meetings. It's not necessary. We can just be talking and we decide what we want to do. And I was like, wow, what makes you feel family isn't official? Who even told you family is not official and you cannot hold official meetings? Meetings are avenues for every member of the family to say what they are not comfortable with and give their suggestions. And if you deny your family this important avenue of being involved, of feeling involved, and actually being involved in the running of the family and how rules come about, you are eroding their self confidence. Yes. Because for them, well, mommy or daddy will just come up with something and tell us. If we like it, we'll do it. If we don't like it, that's their problem. And that's not where you want to get your child. No, that's not where you want to get your child. You want to get your child to that place where they actually see themselves as part of the decision making in the family. And it makes following instructions really easy for everyone. All right, so this is where we'll come to the end of this week's Monday Live that is holding on a Tuesday. All right, so Monday Lives usually holds on Mondays by 12 noon. Okay, so what is it that stood out for you in this conversation? I'd like to hear in the comment section. And like I said, I'm going to drop the details for the Royalty Conclave in the comment section. Do want to take a look. And hey, the next cohort is starting in on 4th September. It's a long time. You can make your payments instrumentally, but you need to secure your slots and then pay up before 4th September. I can assure you, you cannot be in the royalty conclave and your parenting remains the same. Not just your parenting, but other areas of your life. Because by the time you journal daily, by the time you do the tools for the day, by the time you do your book reviews and listen to other people review their books, you know that, I am in a journey, but I need to sit up, all right? And that's the whole essence of what we are doing in royalty conflict. So let us know that the first 6 years is not a moment for us to gallivant. A lot is going on underground and we are not even aware. And our children are falling victims of these underground works. Okay? So see you next week. And if you have any question, do not hesitate to drop your question in the comment section. Do have an amazing, 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 amazing day.